I want to play a video. It's a long video, but it's got some really good stuff in it. Talking a lot about courts, and we're talking about a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm going to town on this show. I'm ranting and raving like a motherfucker. But I'm going to cease ranting and raving for a little bit and play a pre-recorded video of somebody else ranting and raving. So, I want to play this video. This is from, I guess, a couple days ago. This is on MSNBC. Elie Mystal, whom I really like. In fact, I've been reading their book recently. I highly recommend this book. If you haven't read it, I mean, I can't recommend it enough. It's extremely good. But Elie Mystal went on MSNBC to basically dispel some of these myths that Joe Biden can't do anything. Oh, Joe Biden, he's the president of the United States, but he's just watching everything happen and he can't do anything. So Elie Mystal has basically outlined pretty much everything that Joe Biden could do and has chosen not to. And I want to play this clip because it's really good.
Choosing instead to voice support for privacy rights. And his silence caused Elie Mystal to call out President Biden in his latest column for The Nation. Elie writes, quote, "Some might argue that 12 days is not enough time to develop a fully fleshed out federal response to the revocation of the right to bodily autonomy for half the population. But I'd point out that it has been 65 days since the Supreme Court's draft opinion in Dobbs was leaked to Politico. Perhaps some people wanted to believe that decision wasn't real until it was announced, but the federal government should not be extended the luxury of sticking its head in the sand when it is forewarning of impending doom." Joining me now is Elie Mystal, justice correspondent for The Nation. Elie, you were the guy that we had to have this conversation with, right? Because in your latest piece, you wrote, when their people are under attack, when the public is suffering, when lives and livelihoods are threatened.
I'm playing this on 1.5x. If that's annoying to you, I apologize. But, like, you know, just bear the fuck with me. I don't know what to tell you.
Great presidents find a way to do something to fight back. Forgettable presidents find a way to do nothing. Should Americans have the confidence that we need, that the Biden administration actually and finally has a plan to deal with the Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs?
The fact that they haven't had a plan already is a version of executive malpractice. 657 days ago, Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away. And at that point, that was the starting gun. Everybody who was paying attention, me, you, Katie, we all knew on the day that she passed away that this day was coming, that the day that they overturned.
So I'm going to be very clear on this one. This is an important note. So, now again, I say this all the time, right? Some stupid fucking bitch doing a stupid YouTube show in front of like fucking 6 people online, am somehow more educated than every human being in the White House combined. What? Is that possible? Is that possible? Right? Like, apparently, right? Like, and that's the thing that really, we can't accept that as reality. I refuse to accept that as reality. I know for a fact Joe Biden knows what his options are and that he is choosing against them. You're telling me, stupid dumb bitch, look at me, doing a stupid fucking YouTube show in front of like -3 people is somehow more informed on the entirety of the world and the entire state of affairs than every human being in the White House all put together in the same room? Impossible. Impossible. I refuse to believe that. And so as Elie Mystal is saying here, anybody who knows anything about anything knew that once Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, the stupid fucking bitch should have fucking retired during Obama's presidency, by the way, the stupid fucking bitch. Fuck Ruth Bader Ginsburg. But that's another story. But everybody knew as soon as they fucking shoehorned Amy Coney Barrett, I mean, even you could move back further and say Brett Kavanaugh, but the fact that anyone in the White House and every Democratic lawmaker didn't know anything, they had nothing prepared. What? What?
Roe v. Wade was coming. That was always part of the plan. And if you don't know, now you know. So for any Democratic presidential administration to come into office 530 odd days ago without a plan to counteract the Supreme Court's clear intention of overturning Roe v. Wade was already a mistake, right? So he's had 2 years almost to figure out what to do, right? Then, as I said in the piece, the Dobbs decision leaked 64 days ago. I also said in the piece that the Texas SB 8, which functionally revoked the right under Roe v. Wade in Texas last September, it's been 300 days since Texas went full Christo fascist. So the idea that you've only had a couple of weeks to cobble together some kind of federal strategy, I don't accept that. You've had months, you've had years from a certain perspective to put together a federal response to the revocation of women's rights, and we haven't seen that yet.
So, Elie, we can complain, but you and I, let's be solutions-based, right? So let's deliver solutions and bring them to the table. What specific executive actions could the Biden administration take right now to provide some relief on abortion rights?
So this part is also really important. Now, again, I love Elie Mystal. Again, I just want to say, I am currently reading this book. If you have the money to go buy a book, or if you want to pirate it on the internet, whatever, this is a must-read. I'm serious. Like, if you don't know much about the constitutional debacle of how the Supreme Court interacts with our government, you got to read it. I've been learning a lot over the last couple of weeks. But again, it's one thing to complain about the president not doing anything. It's another thing. But again, the thing that's crazy about this is we're supposed to believe in an alternate fucking universe where random person on the television, stupid bitch in her bedroom, that's me, is somehow more informed about how the federal government works than the president of the United States. What? Like, but we're supposed to believe that. Like, Joe Biden wants us to believe that we are all smarter than him. He is the president of the United States, and everyone that works in the White House, the vice president, everyone that works in Congress, who's not calling Joe Biden out every day. There's a couple people like Elizabeth Warren, AOC, Bernie Sanders that are telling Joe Biden and his administration to do anything at all, right? But we're supposed to believe that we are smarter than the entirety, the combination, the sum of every human being that works in the White House or adjacent administration, like, you know, related agencies. What? I refuse to believe that. But if that is the case, if it is the case that some stupid fucking whore in her bedroom is more intelligent and knows more about how the federal government works than the president of the United States, that motherfucker needs to get the fuck out. He needs to resign yesterday. He needs to go the fuck away and never come back. So, I want to play the rest of this clip here again. Elie Mystal is going to point out basically everything Biden can do. He knows he can do it, and he's refusing to do so and lying about it.
First of all, he should be making abortion services available on federal lands. Federal lands are sovereign from state lands. State laws shouldn't apply to federal lands. And we should be having doctors who are willing to do this. And this is going to be a risk for them. But there will be doctors who are willing to do this, who are willing to pay for them out of their own pocket. That kind of gets around the Hyde Amendment, which, by the way, should also be repealed. And you can provide services there. You can provide services at military installations. The Department of Defense has already said that it will still conduct abortion reproductive services for for the military. But you could let the military serve civilians.
That's another thing that's crazy to me. The military is like, yeah, we're going to still allow abortion healthcare. And Joe Biden's going out there and saying, oh, we can't do anything. The federal government can't do anything. The military is like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Joe, but we're going to do some abortions. Watch us. Joe Biden's like, what? Can't do anything. What? I'm Joe Biden. Andrea 2024. I am not too young, depleted uranium cowboy. The Constitution says you need to be 35 years old to run for president, okay? Real quick aside. The Constitution also says if you engage in an insurrection against the United States, you are not allowed to run for president. So if Donald Trump is allowed to run for president, which violates the Constitution, then the Constitution is thrown into the garbage, and therefore I, as a 26-year-old, am also allowed to run for president. It's that simple. So I'd like to announce today, I am announcing my candidacy for the United States presidency in 2024. If it's unconstitutional, so is Donald Trump's run. It's that simple. Anyway, let's back to the video.
On military basis. So those are two very obvious things. 3, abortion drugs, right? There are drugs that are available in some states, FDA approved, that can terminate a pregnancy up to 10 weeks. Those drugs are not easily available. Those drugs are now illegal in some states. Again, at federal institutions, you should be able to go to your post office at this point and pick up your abortion medication, just like you can go to the CVS and pick up some Dayquil. Like that, again, is a thing. Biden can snap his fingers. And people always say, Biden can't snap his fingers. Biden can snap his fingers and make abortion medication available on federal facilities.
To be fair, I think if Joe Biden did snap his fingers, I think all of his fingers would break off. To be fair. But to use the other term, stroke of a pen, I think, well, I know we can have a stroke if he tried to use a pen, but maybe he can have one of his aides write it down for him, okay?
And people always say, like, Biden can't snap his finger. Biden can snap his fingers and make abortion medication available on federal facilities right now, right? So those are 3 actions that he can take. Another one, and he's mentioned this, travel, right? Like, one of the things that we see red states doing, Christian fundamentalist states doing, is talking about restricting the travel options of people who need to leave state to seek abortion services. Biden said that he will stand with people and their right to travel, but he didn't tell us how. He didn't tell us when. He didn't tell us what policy was going to be in place. From my perspective, the federal government, under the Department of Transportation, should be providing travel vouchers for vacations. I say that every person who is impregnated in this country deserves a free vacation to California on the federal dime. Biden could do that. There was this story that I think lots of people saw about this 10-year-old girl in Ohio who was raped and needed abortion services and couldn't get abortion services in Ohio because of their trigger laws after Dobbs. She and her family had to travel to Indiana, whose trigger laws are coming but didn't attach quite as quickly, to receive those services. Why does she have to pay for that out of pocket? Why wasn't the Biden administration funding the travel for that girl and everybody else who needs to leave these Christian fundamentalist states to go to the rest of America where their rights still count? So those are 4 things right off the top that Biden could do within his own executive authority without having to ask permission from President's mansion in cinema.
I just got to say again, I love Elie Mystal, but also at the end, President Mansion and Cinema, goddamn. But again, it's important to know that we need to, in the same way that Donald Trump told like 35,000 lies in office, right? Is there anybody, everyone loves counting all of Donald Trump's lies. Has anyone been counting Joe Biden's lies? Because every time Joe Biden says he is standing with people that need abortion access, gay people, transgender people who are having their rights stripped away in any state, right? Black people who are having their right to vote stripped away. Every time Joe Biden says he is standing with these various communities that are under attack by Republicans, that's a lie. He's lying. Every time Joe Biden says he's doing all that he can, that's a lie. He's lying. So I want to know, I know a lot of people love tracking Donald Trump's lies. Is there anybody tracking Joe Biden's lies? I'm curious. But again, the reason why this clip is such a banger is not only is Elie Mystal saying that Joe Biden's a liar and a son of a bitch, and they've been lying the whole time, but it gets even better. He's going to attack the sanctity, the precious sanctity of the Supreme Court itself. Let's watch.
Didn't realize we had a triumvirate of presidents going on here. You know, Elie, public opinion in the Supreme Court is at an all-time low right now. No big shocker to any of us. Now we're seeing new reporting that a religious leader associated with the Liberty Council, which regularly brings cases before the court, was caught on a hot mic saying that they regularly pray with Supreme Court justices. A legal brief from their group was even cited in the majority decision in the Dobbs case. What? I mean, conflict of interest 101? I mean, open the dictionary. There's the exact example. That would be so obvious if this is true. What, if anything, Elie, can be done to restore confidence in the court? There are crickets from SCOTUS on Clarence Thomas, as well as from Congress. I personally am losing my patience. It's already been...
So I just want to be very clear. I'm going to be honest. I don't know who Katie Fang is. But she asked a pretty decent question. But there's a little presumption that, oh, well, we should want to get to a point where the Supreme Court has like a higher confidence, right? Well, I say fuck that shit. But also, again, Elie Mystal's answer, it's a banger. It's a 10 out of 10.
Been worn thin with Ginny Thomas. I'm kind of at my wit's end, Elie. So what can be done to restore confidence in our Supreme Court?
I'm not sure that we should be trying to restore confidence in this corrupt 6-3 conservative control court, quite frankly. Like, they don't deserve confidence. They are corrupt. They are. And we are living basically at this point, Katie, in a justocracy. I think the technical political science term is crictarchy. We're in a situation where laws passed by Congress or orders given by the president to branches of government that the people are allowed to elect don't matter until the Supreme Court weighs in. Our Supreme Court has become overpowered, and it's become willing to basically execute a veto over the other 2 branches of government. And I like to point out, nobody gets to elect these 9 judicial wizards who apparently rule over all of us. I don't think that is a good example of a functioning democracy.
I just want to also say, most of the conservative justices on the Supreme Court were appointed by presidents who lost the popular vote and confirmed by a Senate that lost the popular vote. We have a 50-50 Senate right now, Democrat and Republican. 40-ish million more people voted for the Democrats than the Republicans, and it's tied down the middle. So the Senate lost the popular vote, the presidency lost the popular vote, and yet that's what the Supreme Court was all made up by, the people that lost the popular vote every step of the way.
So I don't think that confidence should be restored in the Supreme Court. I think power should be taken from the Supreme Court, and there are various ways to do that. But unlike the first part of our conversation, where I was talking about executive actions that Biden can do with a snap of his fingers and a stroke of his pen, controlling the Supreme Court really does require Congress and requires a larger majority of people in Congress willing to cut the power out from the Supreme Court. So I support court expansion, obviously, to dilute the impact of these Christian fundamentalist judges. But I also support, and I've supported this for a long time, ethics reform for the Supreme Court. A lot of people don't know this. The Supreme Court is the only court in the nation that operates without ethics rules, without statutory ethics rules. Each individual justice gets to decide for themselves what ethics are, which is how you get situations like Clarence and Ginny Thomas, which is how you get situations.
I just want to correct Ellie. Her name is pronounced Guinea. It's not Ginny. It's Guinea. To be very clear, that's the correct pronunciation.
The conservative justices fundraising for the Federal Society, and certainly how you get this Pray Together story that's just out now, right? So the way to stop that is with ethics reforms, write down clear statutory rules of what Supreme Court justices are allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. That takes, just like court expansion, that takes an act of Congress. So yes, Biden can do some things under his executive authority, but these are temporary fixes. The long-term reform requires Congress, and a Congress willing to do something about the Supreme Court.
So again, this is why I was saying earlier, Democratic leadership needs to get their shit together. And by that I mean Nancy Pelosi needs to resign yesterday. Chuck Schumer needs to resign yesterday. Joe Biden needs to resign yesterday. And we need a new generation of people that are willing to literally do anything at all. Not only that, but we need at least have a generation of leadership that's willing to pretend that they're going to do anything. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer aren't even pretending that they're going to fight. They're not even pretending that they're going to rein in the Supreme Court. They're not even pretending that they're going to pack the court. They're not even pretending that they're going to hold these justices accountable. So again, this clip is a banger. I also want to recommend this book again for the third time. The Supreme Court has been an enemy of the United States and the people that live here throughout its entire history. If you want to know every aspect of how that court has fucked this country over, read this goddamn book. It's really good. So, but anyway, again, it needs to be understood, Joe Biden is a professional liar. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are professional liars, and they are going to let this fucking Christian fundamentalist theocratic fascist movement basically turn everyone in this country that's not a straight cisgender white man into a second, third, fourth, fifth class citizen. They've said it. Clarence Thomas is literally saying he's coming for gay rights, right? He's coming for the right to a condom. Clarence Thomas wants to ban condoms. And Joe Biden can't do anything. It's insane. It's insane. And I just want to be very clear. It's over. Unless Democratic leadership does literally anything at all to rein in this corrupt court, it's over. America's done. It's gone. America, as you know it right now, and as you've known it for your entire life, is gone. In less than a couple years. Unless Democrats do literally anything at all. And chances are, they're not. So, brace for fucking impact.